الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله
الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. قل يا عبادي الذين أسرفوا على أنفسهم لا تقنطوا من رحمة الله إن الله يغفر الذنوب جميعا إنه هو الغفور الرحيم وأنيبوا إلى ربكم وأسلموا له من قبل أن يأتيكم العذاب ثم لا تنصرون واتبعوا أحسن ما أنزل إليكم من ربكم من قبل أن يأتيكم العذاب بغتة وأنتم لا تشعرون أن تقول نفس يا حسرة على ما فرطت في جنب الله وإن كنت لمن الساخرين أو تقول لو أن الله هداني لكنت من المتقين أو تقول حين ترى العذاب لو أن لي كرة فأكون من المحسنين بلى قد جاءتك آياتي فكذبت بها واستكبرت وكنت من الكافرين ويوم القيامة ترى الذين كذبوا على الله وجوههم مسودة أليس في جهنم مثوى للمتكبرين وينجي الله الذين اتقوا بمفازتهم لا يمسهم السوء ولا هم يحزنون الله خالق كل شيء وهو على كل شيء وكيل له مقاليد السماوات والأرض والذين كفروا بآيات الله أولئك هم الخاسرون قل أفغير الله تأمروني أعبد أيها الجاهلون ولقد أوحي إليك وإلى الذين من قبلك لئن أشركت ليحبطن عملك ولتكونن من الخاسرين بل الله فاعبد وكن من الشاكرين وما قدروا الله حق قدره والأرض جميعا قبضته يوم القيامة والسماوات مطويات بيمينه سبحانه وتعالى عما يشركون ونفخ في الصور فصعق من في السماوات ومن في الأرض إلا من شاء الله ثم نفخ فيه أخرى فإذا هم قيام ينظرون وأشرقت الأرض بنور ربها ووضع الكتاب وجيء بالنبيين والشهداء وقضي بينهم بالحق وهم لا يظلمون ووفيت كل نفس ما عملت وهو أعلم بما يفعلون. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. وسيق الذين كفروا إلى جهنم زمرا حتى إذا جاءوها فتحت أبوابها وقال لهم خزنتها ألم يأتكم رسل منكم يتلون عليكم آيات ربكم وينذرونكم لقاء يومكم هذا قالوا بلى ولكن حقت كلمة العذاب على الكافرين قيل ادخلوا أبواب جهنم خالدين فيها فبئس مثوى المتكبرين. وسيق الذين اتقوا ربهم إلى الجنة زمرا حتى إذا جاءوها وفتحت أبوابها وقال لهم خزنتها سلام عليكم طبتم فادخلوها خالدين وقالوا الحمد لله الذي صدقنا وعده وأورثنا الأرض نتبوأ من الجنة حيث نشاء فنعم أجر العاملين. وترى الملائكة حافين من حول العرش يسبحون بحمد ربهم وقضي بينهم بالحق وقيل الحمد لله رب العالمين. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. استغفر الله. اللهم سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك اللهم لك الحمد اللهم لا نحصي ثناء عليك اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد النبي الأمي وعلى آله وأصحابه وسلم تسليما. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار.
وقنا عذاب القبر وقنا عذاب الحشر وقنا عذاب الفقر وقنا عذاب الدين واحشرنا يوم القيامة مع المتقين والأبرار ربنا ظلمنا أنفسنا وإن لم تغفر لنا وترحمنا لنكونن من الخاسرين ربنا اغفر لنا ولإخواننا الذين سبقونا بالإيمان ولا تجعل في قلوبنا غلا للذين آمنوا ربنا إنك رؤوف رحيم رب اغفر وارحم وأنت خير الراحمين رب اغفر وارحم وأنت خير الراحمين رب اغفر وارحم وأنت خير الراحمين اللهم اغفر لنا وارحمنا وعافنا وارزقنا واسترنا واغفرنا واهدنا وارفعنا إنا لما أنزلت إلينا من خير فقراء اللهم اغفر لجميع أمة سيدنا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم اللهم ارحم أمة سيدنا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم اللهم تجاوز عن أمة سيدنا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم اللهم استر واجبر واحفظ واهدي أمة سيدنا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم اللهم أصلح أحوال أمة سيدنا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم اللهم استر واجبر واحفظ واهدي أمة سيدنا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم اللهم اغفر لنا وللمؤمنين والمؤمنات والمسلمين والمسلمات وألف بين قلوبهم وأصلح ذات بينهم وانصرهم على عدوك وعدوهم اللهم انصر الإسلام والمسلمين اللهم انصر الإسلام والمسلمين اللهم انصر الإسلام والمسلمين اللهم أعز الإسلام والمسلمين في مشارق الأرض ومغاربها أجمعين اللهم انصر إخواننا المستضعفين المضطهدين المظلومين في فلسطين وفي غزة وفي الأقصى وفي جميع أنحاء العالم يا رب العالمين اللهم انصرهم نصرا مؤزرا اللهم وحد صفوفهم اللهم اجمع جهودهم على الحق يا رب العالمين اللهم ارحم شهداءهم اللهم اشف جرحاهم اللهم عاف مبتلاهم اللهم فك أسراءهم اللهم أطعم جائعهم اللهم كن لهم معينا وظهيرا يا رب العالمين اللهم عليك بأعدائك أعداء الدين اللهم عليك بالغاشمين الظالمين الباغين الطاغين المتعنتين المتشددين اللهم شتت شملهم ومزق جمعهم وأوقد فيما بينهم الحروب التي لا تنقطع أبدا اللهم أرنا فيهم عجائب قدرتك اللهم اجعل تدميرهم في تدبيرهم اللهم اجعل بأسهم بينهم اللهم اشغلهم في أنفسهم اللهم عليك بهم فإنهم لا يعجزون اللهم منزل الكتاب ومجري السحاب وهازم الأحزاب اهزم الأحزاب وانصرنا عليهم اللهم انصر دينك وكتابك وسنة نبيك وعبادك المؤمنين اللهم ربنا لا تجعلنا فتنة للقوم الظالمين نجنا برحمتك من القوم الكافرين ربنا عليك توكلنا وإليك أنبنا وإليك المصير ربنا لا تجعلنا فتنة للذين كفروا واغفر لنا ربنا إنك أنت العزيز الحكيم ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم صل اللهم وسلم على سيدنا محمد وآله وصحبه أجمعين برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم نحمده ونصلي على رسوله الكريم أما بعد يوحى إلي أنما إلهكم إله واحد إلا نوحي إليه أنه لا إله إلا أنا فاعبدون أم لهم آلهة تمنعهم من دوننا أفتعبدون من دون الله ما لا ينفعكم شيئا ولا يضركم. Do you then worship besides Allah things that you neither be of any good to you nor do any harm? La ilaha illa anta subhanak. There is no God save you. Glory be to thee. Surah Al-Anbiya 87. Innama yuha ilayya annama ilahukum ilahun wahid. What has come to me by revelation is that your Allah is one Allah. Al-Anbiya verse number 108. Hazrat Shaykh is mentioning those ayat in which Kalma Tayyiba La ilaha illallah to some degree is mentioned. فَإِلَهُكُمْ إِلَهٌ وَاحِدٌ فَلَهُ أَسْلِمُوا. Your Allah is one Allah. Your God is one God. Submit to Him alone. اعبدوا الله ما لكم من إله غيره. Worship Allah. You have no other God but Him. Al-Mu'minun 23. وَمَا كَانَ مَعَهُ مِنْ إِلَهٍ. Nor is there any God with Him. Al-Mu'minun 91. فَتَعَالَى اللَّهُ الْمَلِكُ الْحَقُّ لَا إِلَهَ إِلَّا هُ. Therefore Allah exalted the true King. There is no God beside Him. Al-Mu'minun verse number 16. وَمَنْ يَدْعُ مَعَ اللَّهِ إِلَهًا آخَرَ لَا بُرْهَانَ لَهُ بِهِ فَإِنَّمَا حِسَابُهُ عِنْدَ رَبِّهِ. If anyone invokes any other God besides Allah, he has no authority of it. His reckoning is only with his Lord. Al-Mu'minun 117. أَإِلَهٌ مَعَ اللَّهِ. Can there be any God besides Allah? An-Naml 64. وَهُوَ اللَّهُ لَا إِلَهَ إِلَّا هُ لَهُ الْحَمْدُ فِي الْأُولَى وَالْآخِرَةِ. And He is Allah. There is no God but He. To Him be praised in the first and the last worlds. Surah Al-Qasas 70. Man ilahun ghayrullahi ya'tikum bilaylin taskununa fihi. Is there any other than Allah who can give you a night in which you can get sukoon and rest? Al-Qasas 72. وَلَا تَدْعُ مَعَ اللَّهِ إِلَهًا آخَرَ لَا إِلَهَ إِلَّا هُ. Do not call besides Allah on any other God. There is no God but He. Al-Qasas 88. وَإِلَهُنَا وَإِلَهُكُمْ وَاحِدٌ. And our Allah and your Allah is one. Al-Ankabut 46. لَا إِلَهَ إِلَّا هُ فَأَنَّا تُؤْفَكُونَ. No gods beside He. So where are you? How then are you deluded? Inna ilahakum ilahun wahid. Inna ilahakum lawahid. Lo, thy Lord is surely one. Safat 4. Innahum kanu idha qila lahum la ilaha illallah yastakbirun. For when it was said to them, meaning mushrikeen, that there is no God but Allah, they became haughty and scornful. Safat 35. أَجَعَلَ الْآلِهَةَ إِلَهًا وَاحِدًا. Has He made all the gods into one God? Sad verse number 5. وَمَا مِنْ إِلَهٍ إِلَّا اللَّهُ الْوَاحِدُ الْقَهَّارُ. There is no God but Allah, the one, the irresistible. Sad 65. هُوَ اللَّهُ الْوَاحِدُ الْقَهَّارُ. He is Allah, the one, the irresistible. Zumar 4. ذَلِكُمُ اللَّهُ رَبُّكُمْ لَهُ الْمُلْكُ لَا إِلَهَ إِلَّا هُ. Such is Allah, your Lord and Cherisher. His is the sovereignty. There is no God beside Him. Zumar 6. لا إله إلا هو إليه المصير. There is no God but Him. To Him is the final goal. لا إله إلا هو فأنا تؤفكون. There is no God but Allah. Then how are you deluded? Al-Mu'min verse number 62. अभी जो 69 वर्ष हुए हैं, अभी तो 3 सफ़े और बाकी हैं, इंशाअल्लाह इसको बाद में पढ़ेंगे। ये सारी आयत अल्लाह की वहदानियत पर दलालत करती हैं। अल्लाह हमें उसकी वहदानियत पर सच्चा यकीन नसीब फरमाए। सुभानअल्लाह बिहम्दिही सुभानकल्लाहुम्मा व बिहम्दिका नशहदु अल्ला इलाहा इल्ला अंता नस्तगफिरुका व नतूबु इलैक। मौलाना बिलाल साहब जिक्र करा देते हैं, हम सबक में जाते हैं। मिशकात वाले आ जाओ सबक में। लाइट खुलो ना होगा ये। Where is everyone? Text कर ला। 50 pound fine. Where is your classman?
Mom with Dan probably won't be in because his uncle passed away a few days ago, so I think he's in Preston. Dawson should be here. Should be here.
चलो अब उसके पूरी में दौड़ आ रही text Kirola. Text on your group. Where is everyone? चलो पढ़ो भी बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम नहमदुहु व नसल्ली अला रसूलिहिल करीम अम्मा बाद जी जी कहाँ से पढ़ा हदीस नंबर 248 फिर से पढ़ो जोर से
وعنه رضي الله عنه فيما أعلم عن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم قال إن الله عز وجل يبعث لهذه أمتي على رأس كل 100 سنة من يجدد لها دينها.
जी नबी and from the same Sahabi Abu Hurairah radiyallahu anhu, as far as I know, Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, indeed Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will raise for this ummah at the head of every 100 years such who will revive for the ummah its deen. Yab'asu, ba'asa yab'asu means to raise. لهذه الأمة Ummat, Bazahir, what's meant here is Ummatul Ijabat. Possibility is Ummatul Da'wat as well. But Sheikh Yunus Sahib said Ummat Ijabat should be meant here, not Da'wat. Because Tajdeed is for Ummat Ijabat, those who responded to the call of Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. من يجدد له على رأس كل 100 سنة, at the head of every century. من يجدد لها دينها, those who will revive for them the deen. Now who are these who will revive the deen? And secondly, is 100 years exactly meant, or does it mean a long era? Hazrat Maulana Abdul Hayy Lakhnavi rahmatullahi alayhi, according to Sheikh Yunus Sahib, says that it means an era, meaning at every era, whether it's 100 years or more or less. And man yujaddidu laha deenaha, those who will revive the deen for it. Some say one person is meant here, and then they indicate towards some mujaddideen of the previous eras. Like the first century's mujaddid is Hazrat Umar ibn Abdul Aziz, who was born in the year 60 and died in just 2.5 years. So he died in the year 101 at the age of 41. Second century's mujaddid is said to be Imam Shafi'i rahmatullahi alayhi, who died in the year 201. Then third century, perhaps Imam Tahawi rahmatullahi alayhi from Hanafiya. Fourth century, fifth century, Imam Ghazali rahmatullahi alayhi in the 5th century, who died in the year 505. And then 6th century, perhaps 7, 8, Hafiz ibn Hajar Asqalani and others, Ibn Daqiqul Eid, until we move on to 9th century. Suyuti Rahmatullah alayhi claimed, I am the Mujaddid of the 9th century. He died in the year 909. In his time, some ulama did agree with him, others disagreed. And then
we believe that Shah Waliullah is among the Mujaddideen. Hazrat Mujaddid al-Fisani on 1000, when first millennium finished and second millennium started. Hazrat Mujaddid al-Fisani, Sheikh Ahmad Sal-Hindi Rahmatullah alayhi, is the Mujaddid of that era. Al-Fisani, second millennium. So then we get, recent Mujaddideen. People claim maybe Hazrat Maulana Rashid Ahmad Gangohi, Hazrat Maulana Ilyas Sahab, our Hazrat Sheikh Maulana Zakaria Sahab. Right, he did so much work. He died in the year 1402. So our Mashayikh say Hazrat Sheikh is the Mujaddid for the 14th century. So in this way, ulama mention names. However, second opinion is man is not for one person, man is for one whole group. There will be a group of people who together will revive the deen, and they will be from among all tabaqat, among the mujahideen, among the ulama, sulaha, mashayikh, ahlullah. السلام عليكم كيف اليوم جزاك الله خير وعليكم السلام كيف شيخ محمود. So one is for a whole group, not just for a single person. Wallahu alam. चलिए.
وعن إبراهيم بن عبد الرحمن العوفي رضي الله عنه قال قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يحمل هذا الرحمن من كل خلف وجوه ينفون عنه تخليف الغالين وانتحال المبطلين وتأويل الجاهلين وهو البيهقي في كتاب المدخل ومرسل حديث جابر رضي الله عنه.
الحمد لله.
तबीयत ठीक ठाक
يرجع.
बस अल्लाह का शुक्र है अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह. आता मैं आपको इन और कुछ शेख में
कौन?
प्लीज जवान उसकी तो कोई कारी शेख में कारी करी नहीं पड़ा
तहसीन के लिए रख दो. तहसीन है. हाँ. This ilm will be carried in every latter generations by the udul, the most reliable among them, who will dispel from it the tahrif and the concocting of the exaggerators and the plagiarism of the falsehood makers and the misinterpretation of the ignorant ones. Hamala yahmilu, to carry forward. Khalaf, those who follow, the successors. Udul, plural of adil, reliable scholars. Yanfuna, nafa yanfi nafiyan, to reject and to negate and to remove. Tahrif, harrafa yuharrifu tahrifan, to change. Ghalin, from ghulu. Ghulu means exaggerate. People will exaggerate in deen and they will say exaggerative things. They will go into extremes regarding matters of deen. So these ulama will remove those exaggerations. وانتحال المبتلين, plagiarism of the mubtilin, falsehood makers. Intihal means to relate someone's work to yourself, to steal someone's work. Like today in universities, colleges, people copy other people's work and make it their own. This is called intihal. And mubtili, abtala means to make something false, falsehood. Those who make falsehood. So their intihal and
their plagiarism. And ta'wilul jahilin, ta'wil means interpretation. Over here, Zahir, because it's jahil, so it's misinterpretation. The wrong ta'wilat of the jahil and ignorant people. Meaning, in every era, Allah will produce such ulama who will be ulama haq and who will who will uphold the truth, who will know where things are going wrong, and who will be brave, courageous, and they will correct whatever falsehood and wrong was added. There will be dakus in every era, and these dakus will attack the deen. But there will be the soldiers of Islam. And who are the soldiers of Islam? The ulama haq, who will see where things are going wrong and they will rectify and correct it. The hadith is also urging the ulama kiram to speak haq and do not fear the blaming of the blamers. Wherever you are, just speak the truth and don't be scared from the blaming of the blamers. चलिए चलो चाय पी लो जल्दी बिस्मिल्लाह वाला बरकत भाई सबक हो रहा है मिशका शरीफ का जिक्र जो है फेसबुक पर है और उधर है आपको सुनना है तो मिक्सलर पर है चाहिए नहीं है
बाद में
ले लीजिए जो
अभी दवाई नहीं
ठंडी पड़ जाएगी अच्छा अच्छा जवान लड़का क्या दवाई खाता है
No, he says have an empty stomach. So.
हो गया डिस्टर्ब में दवाई चलेगी जी पढ़ो जल्दी
نذكر حديث جابر رضي الله عنه فإن مشروع العي سؤال في باب التيمم إن شاء الله تعالى.
चलो
الفصل الثالث.
إنما شفاء العي السؤال. Indeed, the shifa of iyun. Iyun literally means ajizi, to be unable to do something. By iyun, jahl is meant over here. Indeed, the cure and the healing of ignorance is in asking. If you don't know something, then ask. Then the ulama will explain to you and your matter will be solved. जी पढ़ो
الفصل الثالث عن الحسن بن مسلم قال قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم من جاءه الموت وهو يطلب العلم ليدخل الإسلام فبينه وبين النبيين درجة واحدة في الجنة وهو التعلم.
Whoever's death approaches him whilst he is seeking knowledge so that he may revive with Deen Islam, then between him and the Prophet there will be only one rank's difference in Jannah. من جاءه الموت وهو يطلب العلم ليحيي به الإسلام. Reviving Islam indicates towards ikhlas niyyat, that his talabul ilm is not for name and fame, it is for ihya Islam. Then on the day of Qiyamah, when he goes in Jannah, then between him and the prophets, there will be only one darja in Jannah. What is that extra darja? Of nubuwwat. Because nubuwwat is something which nobody can earn. It is a gift from Allah. But the ilm is something which you can earn. So he acquired ilm and he became alim or alima. So because of that, Allah will give him high ranks in Jannah. Some shurra say that in Jannah there are 100 rankings. Inna fil jannati miyat darajati. So Anbiya will get the 100 darajat and the alim will get to 99th darja. He will be at one darja below the Anbiya alayhim salam. Al-Hasan Mursalan, when Al-Hasan is among Tabi'een, then there is only one Hasan meant, and that is Hasan Basri. Like in Sahaba, when Abdullah is kept mutlaqan, then it's Abdullah ibn Mas'ud. He is the eldest among the Abadila. Abdullah ibn Umar, Abdullah ibn Zubair, Abdullah ibn Abbas, Abdullah ibn Amr, ibn al-As, they are all young ones. Abdullah ibn Mas'ud is the most senior. So in Sahaba, Abdullah is only ibn Mas'ud, and in Tabi'een, Hasan is only Hasan Basri. Chaliye, he says this Mursalan. You know what Mursal is? We read in Muqaddamah Mishkat. Chaliye.
المرسل قال سئل رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم عن رجلين كان في بني إسرائيل أحدهما كان عالما يصلي المكتوبة ثم يجلس فيعلم الناس الخير والآخر يصوم النهار ويقوم الليل أيهما أفضل؟ قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم فضل هذا العالم الذي يصلي المكتوبة ثم يجلس فيعلم الناس الخير على العابد الذي يصوم النهار ويقوم الليل كفضلي على أدناكم الله داري.
Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wasallam was asked about two men who were in Bani Israel. One of them was alim who would pray his farz and then sit and teach people good, and the other would fast during the day and tahajjud at night. Who is better of the two? Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, the virtue, excellence, fazilat of this alim who does his faraiz and then he sits teaching people good over the worshipper who fasts in the day and tahajjud at night is like my virtue over the youngest and the smallest among you, the smallest sahabi. Hadith meaning is clear, and the reason we mentioned before. Two reasons. Number one, because the benefit of ilm is muta'addi, it spreads to others, whereas the benefit of ibadat is lazim and personal, it's only for the person himself. And number two, when a person is muallim, then he is sharik with Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wasallam in his sifati muallimiyyat, because he himself said, innama bu'istu muallima. So he becomes a muallim like Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wasallam was a muallim, an educator. Therefore, he is like Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wasallam, and his fazilat over the other people is like Huzur's fazilat over the Sahaba. And this is a great fazilat, and बहुत बड़ी fazilat Huzur ने बयान कर. चलिए.
قال علي رضي الله عنه قال قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم نعم الرجل الفقيه في الدين إن احتيج إليه نفع ونسأله عنه وأغنى نفسه الله العزيز.
How excellent is the one who has basirat in deen, insight in deen. If he is needed, he benefits. If he is not needed and people feel aloof and independent and not in need of him, then he also keeps himself to himself. Faqih fi deen, fiqh over here means broad understanding of deen, not the fiqh istilahi of fuqaha of learning the day-to-day masail. And in ihtija ilayhi nafa'a, when he is needed, people ask him questions and people want to learn from him, he teaches, he benefits. And if people do not pay attention to him, then he also keep himself to himself. This is to say that an alim should not go after the wealthy and the elite and the kings and the rulers for their money and name and being big. He should rather be mustaghni, and he should keep himself to himself. And it does not mean that he should be lazy and just sleep all the time. It means that when he is not needed, people don't pay attention to him, then he doesn't run after people. He's trying his best, he's doing his work, he's doing khidmat. But when people feel that they don't need him, then he says, no problem. Jao bhai, apna kaam karo. Chaliye. So keep doing your work, but if people do not pay attention to you, then don't run after them. Chaliye.
عن ابن عباس رضي الله عنهما قال حدث الناس كل جمعة مرة فإن بيت فمرتين فإن أكثرت فثلاث مرات ولا تمل الناس هذا القرآن ولا ألفينك تأتي القوم وهم في حديث من حديثهم فتقص عليهم فتقطع عليهم حديثهم فتملهم ولكن أنصت فإذا أمروك فحدثهم وهم يشتكونه وانظر السجع من الدعاء فاجتنبه فإني أحبت رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم وأصحابه لا يفعلون ذلك رواه البخاري.
Ibn Abbas said to Ikrimah, O Ikrimah, relate hadith to people, meaning teach them once every Jumu'ah, meaning every week. Jumu'ah in the Istilah was used for week as well. So teach people once a week. Then if you refuse, then twice. Then if you want to teach more, then 3 times. And do not bore people from this Quran. And I do not want to see you going to a community who are busy in some conversation of theirs and you interrupt them and start giving them some lecture and you cut off their conversation and you bore them. However, remain silent. When they instruct you, then speak, whilst they are desiring of your speech. And check for the rhyme in du'as and refrain from it, because my knowledge of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and his Sahaba is that they would not do this. Rawahul Bukhari. The meaning of this hadith is that we should think about people when giving bayans, lectures, advices. Once a week is enough. If you want to increase it, twice a week. If you want to do more, then 3 times a week. But don't do more than that. Ibn Mas'ud used to do bayan every Thursday night. People said, no, give us more. We like your bayan. Do more bayan. I said, no, I don't want to bore you. I think about you. So same here. Ibn Abbas is giving this advice to his student, Ikrimah. If you want to do more, twice a week, more than 3 times a week, but don't go above that limit. This young alim graduated in London. He was imam and newly converted. He wanted to change the whole world. So he started giving bayan in ladies. Once a week, ladies said, we like your bayan. So gents complained to the committee कि ये औरतें रोटियां नहीं पका रही हैं घर में, रोज बयान में भागती फिरती हैं. मौलवी साहब से कहो बस करो यार, ये क्या रोज बयान. तो ये रोज बयान नहीं. Once a week is all right, no more than that. Twice a week, 3 times a week.
And وَلَا تُمِلَّ النَّاسَ هَذَا الْقُرْآنِ. أَمَلَّ يُمِلُّ إِمْلَالًا is from malal, mulul. Malla yamallu malalan means to get bored. So do not make people bored from this Quran. Because if you teach too much, they get bored with it. And la ulfiyannaka alfa yulfi, to find. I do not want to see you going to a community who are busy in their talk and you interrupt them. Right? Sadly, sometimes our Jamaat brothers do this. Kids are enjoying their game and they just get to the page and take the ball and they come here and listen to our tabligh. That should not be done. The youngsters will, they won't like it. Let them play their game. When they finish their game, then talk to them. So do not cut off people's conversation. And then, one zuri saj'a min ad-duna. Saj'a means a rhyme. In dua, there should not be any poetry or rhyme. Don't make dua in a rhyme manner. Right? Dua, you should be sincere. Your mind should be connected with Allah. Your mind should not be in poetry of composing poetry during the dua. So be careful and do not make rhymes in dua. Stay away from it because I have seen Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam and Sahaba not doing this. Chaliya. In fact, there is one hadith which says, Naha an saj'i fi dua. That Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam forbade us from composing poetry when making du'as. Ji. Whoever went in search of knowledge and he got it. Whoever searched knowledge and got it will get double reward. If he did not get it, he will get single reward. Kiflun means share. He will get a share of his reward. Now, if he got the ilm as well, then he will get double reward. Why double reward? Because he searched and then he acquired because he worked hard, he made an effort, he became proper alim, and he went on to teach people and spread his ilm. So he will get double thawab. One for talab and one for becoming proper alim due to hard work and effort. Do you get me? Are you working hard? Do you go over your sabak and learn properly? If you do so, you become proper alim, you'll get double reward. But if you went in search of knowledge and you had a dilly-dally attitude, you did not become proper alim, you did not understand, you did not learn properly, you did not pass on, go on to spread your ilm to others, then chalo, Allah will give you one share, one part of the reward because of your talab. At least you went out to study. Chali, under the kongri rakho, put your fingers. علمه علمه سلام
ونشره وولدا صالحا تركه أو مصحفا ورثه أو مسجدا بناه أو بيتا لابن السبيل بناه أو نهرا فجره أو صدقة أخرجها من ماله في صحته وحياته الحقه من بعد موته رواه ابن ماجه والبيهقي في شعب الإيمان.
In the previous hadith, أدركه لم يدركه. Other Sheikh Yunus Sahab says over there that one masala is over here that if a mujtahid is musib, he gets double reward. If he is mukhti, he gets single reward. So mujtahid musib gets double reward. Huzur said ye kiflani, and mujtahid who makes mistake will get single reward for ijtihad. At least he tried, though he did not, he made mistake. Next hadith, indeed, among the things which reach a person from his amal and hasanat after his death is the ilm which he taught and spread, and a pious child whom he left behind, and a mushaf which he left in inheritance, and a masjid which he constructed, or a musafir khana he made for musafirs, or a river he dug and made flow for people, or a sadaqah which he took out from his wealth during his health and his life. These will reach him after his death. Do you understand all the words? علما علمه ونشره. As the Shaykh Rahmatullah alayhi writes, بالتخفيف والتشديد. That alimahu and allamahu, both nuskhas and wordings are narrated. And nasharahu is more general than allamahu, because sometimes nashr is through publishing books, authoring books, writing books, and ta'aleem is for students. So he learned ilm and he taught it to students, and he spread it either by teaching or by writing books and other sources. And then the rest is clear. Now, you might, Sheikh Yunus Sahib says, one might ask a question over here that we read previously, Hadith, إِذَا مَاتَ ابْنُ آدَمْ إِنْقَطَعَ عَمَلُهُ إِلَّا مِنْ ثَلَاث. Now over here there's more than thalath. The answer is that most of these things are included in sadaqatin jariyatin. So both hadith can be merged and combined together. Chaliye. In other words, this is an explanation, more explanation of sadaqatin jariyatin. Ji.
عن عائشة رضي الله عنها أنها قالت سمعت رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يقول إن الله عز وجل أوحى إلي أنه من سلك مسلكا في طلب العلم سهلت له طريق الجنة ومن سلكت كريمتيه أثبته عليه من الجنة وفضل في علم خير من فضل في عبادة وملاك الدين الورع وهو في شعبه
أثبته أثاب يثيب إثابة ثواب جنة أثبته عليهم الجنة. Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, indeed Allah sent wahi to me that whoever treads a path for seeking knowledge, I will make the road to Jannat easy for him. And whoever's two noble eyes I take away from him, meaning make him blind, then I will reward him upon them with Jannah. And extra ilm is better than extra ibadat. And the thing that holds the deen, the main basis of deen, is wara, parhezgari, and being cautious. The first sentence we've covered before. Salabtu karimatayhe, yani akhaztu aynayhe. Karimatayhe, tasniya of karimatun, and two noble things means, refers to his eyes, meaning I make him blind, take away his eyesight. Asabtuhu, asaba yusibu isabatan, from thawab, I will give him thawab of jannat over it. And fadl means extra, additional, acquiring extra knowledge is better than excessive worship. And milakuddin, milak, yani ma yamliku shay, the thing that holds everything together. The root and of deen is wara. Wara, Allama Tibi Rahmatullah alayhi said, wara is originally for al-kaffu anil maharim wa shubuhat, staying away from haram stuff and doubtful stuff. So taqwa is staying away from haram, but wara is one step above taqwa. Wara means to stay away from even the slightest doubtful, suspicious thing as well. And then TB says it was used for staying away from mubah and halal as well. Wara means you stay away from many halal things as well. Why? Because you are scared you could fall into haram. If you do this halal, then you could go into haram, so I might as well leave this halal as well.
so it doesn't drag me towards the haram. So that's called wara. So Milakuddin al-wara, the thing that will keep your deen strong is that you have wara and parhezgari and carefulness in you. चलिए عن ابن عباس قال تدارس العلم ساعة من الليل خير من إحيائها. Abdullah ibn Abbas radiallahu anhuma said that um, doing muzakara of ilm in one part of the night is better than staying awake all night. Tadarus, tadarus है tadarasu tadarusan, meaning एक दूसरे को पढ़ाना, to teach one another. So mudarasatul ilm and doing takrar of ilm for 1 hour of the night is better than ihya'iha, staying awake all night. Again, Sheikh Yunus Sahib says that this muzakara can be either between the teachers and the students, or it can be between the students only, and it can be between the teachers because teachers also discussed ilm at many times. So ulama's meeting for the benefit of deen and maqasid of deen and madrasa could be meant here as well. ساعة من الليل خير من إحيائها. For a moment of the night is better than staying awake all night, because staying awake for ibadat, not for other stuff, is personal, and this mudarasatul ilm, it benefits others, it's mutaaddi. That's why Huzur is giving targheeb of mudarasatul ilmi sa'atan min al-layl. Sorry, Ibn Abbas is saying this. Chaliye, Abdullah ibn Amr reports Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam marra bi majlisayn fi masjidihi, passed by 2 majlis and 2 sessions in the masjid. He said, kilahuma ala khayr, both are on good. Amma wa ahaduhuma afzalu min sahibihi, one has more virtue than the other. Amma haulai فيدعون الله ويرغبون إليه فإن شاء أعطاهم وإن شاء منعهم. As for these, they are calling upon Allah and they are yearning towards Him. If He wills, He could give them. If He wills, He could refuse them. وأما هؤلاء فيتعلمون الفقه والعلم ويعلمون الجاهل فهم أفضل وإنما بعثت معلما ثم جلس فيهم. And as for these, they are studying fiqh or ilm and they are teaching the jahil. So they are more virtuous. And I have been sent as an educator and teacher. Then he sat with the educators and with them. Hadith Sharif is clear. Again, Huzur Akram sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, as for those who are calling upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then it is up to Allah. If He wants to give, He will give. If He wants to refuse, He will refuse. Hazrat Shaykh Zakaria rahmatullah alayhi says, فيه رد على المعتزلة حيث قالوا بإيجاب الجزاء. Mu'tazila's refute is here because they said that jaza is wajib on Allah. And Nabi Pak sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said here, in sha'a atahum wa in sha'a manahum. Reward is not wajib on Allah. He can give reward, He can refuse to give if He wants to. And the other part is of the muallimin. You see how important it is to teach and educate, right? To have maktab system, to have darulum system, to have teaching system. And those countries, alhamdulillah, in which we have this teaching educational system, alhamdulillah, we have our ulama, we are strong on our deen. But those countries who got rid of this Dini education system, they failed, right? Even in Arab countries, they don't let any, let alone Darulum, they don't even let them establish maktab system. There's no maktab system, if you go in these Arabian lands. And because of that, their children are going offline. So, alhamdulillah for our Mashayikh, we established darulums and we are teaching people, educating. So ilm will remain. And Huzur said, I was sent as a muallim, so he sat with them. Chaliye.
Either he sat with them to encourage them to do more, or number two, he sat with them to teach them because they were in need of more ilm. So Huzur, sat with them to educate them. Chaliye.
وعن أبي درجة رضي الله عنه قال سئل رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم ما حد العلم الذي إذا بلغه الرجل وكان فقيها قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم أخذ على أمتي 40 حديثا في أمر دينها فأعطاه الله فقيها وكنت له يوم القيامة شافعا.
Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wasallam was asked, what is that had and limit of knowledge where a person reaches, then he will be classed as a faqih, a jurist, one with understanding of deen. And Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wasallam replied, whoever guards for my ummah 40 hadiths regarding his deeni matters, then Allah will raise him as a faqih, and I for him on the day of judgment will be an interceder and a witness. Meaning, for a person to gain understanding of deen, not to become a faqih and mufti. This is about understanding of deen. Then at least the minimum he can do is حفظ على أمتي 40 حديثا. على أمتي, number one, شفقة على أمتي. Shafqat and caring for the ummah. Or لأجل نفع أمتي, for the benefit of my ummah. 40 hadith. What are these 40 hadith? Number one, 40 ahadith min kulli babi. 40 ahadith in every bab, every chapter. Number two, min ayyi babin kana. Number three, min abwabin mutafarriqatin. So he gathers these 40 hadiths and Hafiza does hifz of them. This hifz can be, as a Sheikh Rahmatullah, as a Sheikh Yunus Sahib says, that it means he learns them himself, he understands their meaning. It's not necessary to memorize them. In fact, even if he was to pass 40 ahadith on to others by authoring them, collecting them, then he will be classed as someone who has understanding of his deen. This was said by Imam Nawawi. But Mullah Ali Qari Rahmatullah Alayhi said that just passing on to someone cannot be meant in the hadith, because the hadith is about becoming a faqih, understanding. So it will be necessary to understand those 40 ahadith and their meanings. Mullah Ali Qari said that Masail are also included in there. So if someone, gathers Masail, understands them fully and explains them to others, he will also be included in this faqihan. Like for example, Masail of Sawm. You gather those and you pass on to people so people can understand the Roza Masail properly and act and practice. Huzur said, Man hafiza, memorizes them and passes them on, then Allah will resurrect him as faqih, one who had understanding of deen. And I will do sifarish for him and be gawah for him on the day of Qiyamah. Based on this, many ulama compile small booklets of 40 ahadith. Like we have Arba'in Nawawiyya. Did you study Arba'in Nawawiyya? It's a good book, you should study. nice 40 hadith. Ibn Rajab Hanbali added another 10 on there and authored the book Jami'ul Ulumi wal Hikam في شرح 50 حديثا من جوامع الكلم. Torah's publication translated in English, Compendium of Knowledge. It's a nice compilation. Ibn Rajab's Hanbali's Sharah is very good on it as well. And then we have Arba'in of all ulama wrote Arba'in. Arba'in of Shah Waliullah, Arba'in of so and so, Arba'in of so and so. So, that was all based on this hadith. Chaliye.
وعن انس بن مالك رضي الله عنه قال قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم هل تدرون من اجود جودا قال الله ورسوله.
Do you know who is the greatest in generosity? They said Allah Rasul know best. And he said the greatest in generosity is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then I am the most generous among Banu Adam. And the most generous among them after me is a man who learned ilm and he spread it. He will come on the day of Qiyamah as a single Amir, a leader, or he said an ummah. ألا أخبركم الأجود جودا أجود جودا الله الأجود جودا. He is the greatest Sakhi with regards to generosity. Because Allah created the whole universe and He's spending so much on the world. And then Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wasallam himself said, Ana ajwadu bani Adam. Right? No one come close to the generosity of Hazrat Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Hatim Ta'i is also a million miles away from him. Because generosity is not just feeding the poor. Generosity is in everything. Generosity in good manners, helping others, caring, sharing. And generosity is in passing on ilm, teaching, educating, benefiting the ummah. And look how Nabi Pak sallallahu alaihi wasallam benefited the ummah. How many followers has he got today? He's got no Facebook account, no social media, nothing, and he's got 1.7 billion followers. Right? So this is his jude and his sakhawat. Huzur is the greatest sakhi because he did sakhawat of everything, material and spiritual. Whatever he had, he taught. He never reserved anything for himself. He passed it on to the students, to the Sahaba. And then the one who is greatest Sakhi after Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is an alim. رجل علم علما فنشره يأتي يوم القيامة أميرا وحده أو قال أمة واحدة. أميرا وحده and أمة واحدة both could have same meaning. And meaning he will come في صورة أمير as one leader, a great leader of the community, as Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam is the greatest leader among everyone. Chaliye. He reports that Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, "Manhumani la yashba'an, manhum fil ilm la yashba'u minhu, manhum fil dunya la yashba'u minha." Two greedy persons will never be satiated. Haris. One is the haris and greedy for knowledge. He will never be filled from knowledge. And one is greedy in dunya, he will never be satiated from it. Manhum is from Nahma. Nahmatul Rajul. Imam Bukhari rahmatullahi was asked about the secret of his hafza. You got ghazab ka hafza, computer chip memory. How do you get that? What do you eat? What khamira do you eat? What badam do you eat? And Imam Bukhari rahmatullahi paused, thought for a moment, and then he replied, Idamatul Nazar wa Nahmatul Rajul. Two things. Continuous reading and researching and the zeal and the desire of a person. That's what keeps your memory strong. Because he used to keep looking in the kitab, reading. And he had that desire and zeal for knowledge. And your memory is like your muscle. Right? Those who go to gym, right, and exercise.
because they're making excessive movements, right? That's why their muscles are strong. So your memory is like that muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. So nahmatul rajul, the desire, the zeal. So from there becomes manhum. So manhumani, two zealous people who are who are into this greed, and who have been greed has been ingrained in them. They will never be satiated. One is a person of knowledge, right? He will keep on reading, reading, reading. Every time he finds something new, fascinating, he loves it. Oh, mashallah, वाह मजा आ गया यार, क्या बात है यार, हाफिज इब्न हजर ने क्या लिख दिया. Fathul Bari. There was a time when I used to read Fathul Bari just for fun, right? Just I didn't have to read Bukhari or anything, but just reading for fun. Safat ke safat पढ़ जाते थे. उसमें sometimes you get so many beautiful, nice points that you just are amazed. Wow, Hafiz ibn Hajar ने क्या लिख दिया यार, mashallah. That's why they say the Sharh of Bukhari was qarz on the Ummah, and Hafiz ibn Hajar paid off that qarz. So you read, always keep into reading, studying. So two greedy people cannot be satiated. One is the greedy for knowledge, and his belly will never be filled from it, and the other is greedy for dunya. चलिए وعن عبد الله بن عمرو بن قال قال عبد الله بن مسعود رضي الله عنهما لا يشبع صاحب العلم صاحب الدنيا ولا يستويان اما صاحب العلم فيزداد لذو الرحمن واما صاحب الدنيا فيتمارى في الطغيان ثم قال عبد الله كلا ان الانسان لا يطغى واستغنى وقال الاخر انما يخشى وقال الاخر انما يخشى الله من عباد العلماء رواه الدارمي. Same hadith, but a little bit of addition to it. Abdullah ibn Masud said this, and he added, as for the person of dunya, he stretches himself and increases in rebellion. And as for the Sahibul Ilm, he increases in his rida for Rahman and pleasure of Rahman. Then Abdullah read these two ayats. Kalla innal insana la yatgharra wastaghna. Indeed, a person becomes rebellious when he sees himself to be independent and not in need. When he sees himself as rich, right? I am rich. Rich people don't bother about anyone, right? They're stiff-necked. They don't even want to look at the other person. They look down on people, right? So, ghina makes you sarkash and rebellion. As for the other, when he increases his knowledge, then the more knowledge he gets, the more humble he gets. إنما يخشى الله من عباد العلماء. From Allah, the khashiyat is only in the ulama. The more ilm you have, the more khashiyat you will have for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In fact, even with regards to the worldly knowledge as well, right? If you have worldly knowledge, then it makes you humble, right? If you go to university, the professors, the teachers, right? They are more humble in comparison to those who have no knowledge, who are Mr. Joe Blogs running around on the street and sharab and kebab and drugs, right? They have no humility and humbleness in them. So knowledge brings humility in you. Chaliye. So फिर वहाँ रखते हैं. अस्सलाम वालेकुम. चलो भाई पढ़ो जी. बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम. कौन हाजिर कौन गायब, इसको फाइन करना पड़ेगा जी. कहाँ से है सबक भाई? माशाअल्लाह. आ जाओ आ जाओ.
घर से फ़ोन आ रहा था
तो ज़रूरी है. बेगम साहिबा का फ़ोन आए तो उसको तो सारे काम छोड़ के अटेंड करना पड़ता है.
नहीं वो फ़ोन ही कर दिया तो मैं सोचा को मसला हो गया. कह रही है कहाँ चले गए, मैं लेसन चला गया हूँ.
अच्छा तुमको फिक्र पड़ जाएगी. चलिए कहाँ से है सबक? अबू हुरैरा
जी
रियादुस सालिहीन हदीस नंबर 408. वी आर रीडिंग बाबुल खौफ. बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम. पढ़ो. कौन पढ़ेगा हदीस? जल्दी फटाफट स्पीड में. وعن ابي هريره رضي الله عنه قال قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يومئذ تحدث اخبارها ثم قال تدرون ما اخبارها قالوا الله ورسوله اعلم قال فان اخبارها ان تشهد على كل عبد وامه بما عمل على ذاتها تقول عمل كذا وكذا في يوم كذا وكذا فهذه اخبارها رواه الترمذي وقال هذا حديث حسن Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wasallam read this ayat. The day when the earth will inform of its news. Then he said, do you know what is the news of the earth? We said, Allahu Rasuluhu Alam. He replied, indeed, the information that the earth will give is that it will testify against every a person, male or female, whatever that person had done on the back of the earth. The earth will say, he did such and such an act in such and such a day. So this is the information the earth will blurt out. This ayat is in Surah إِذَا زُلْزِلَتْ إِذَا زُلْزِلَتِ الْأَرْضُ زِلْزَالَهَا. The earth will be shaken. وَأَخْرَجَتِ الْأَرْضُ أَثْقَالَهَا. And the earth will bring about everything that was inside it, meaning all the human beings will come out of the earth. Like you get treasures of gold, mine, copper, silver, everything from there. People will come out. And وَقَالَ الْإِنسَانُ مَا لَهَا. People will be scared. Oh, Baba, what's happening? Why have we come out of our graves? يَوْمَئِذٍ تُحَدِّثُ أَخْبَارَهَا. The earth will speak up on that day. If you did sajda on one place, the earth will say he did so many sajdas over here. And he was reading Quran over here. He was doing zikr over here. The walls will speak up about the zikr and the tilawat and the taraweeh and the tasbihat and your ibadah. On the other hand, if a sin was committed, zina, sharab, pub, drinking, all these bad things, the earth will say that they did this bad stuff on me. Kufar, shirk, budparasti, and idol worship. The earth will speak up. The earth knows what's going on it. Okay, so the earth will speak up. One hadith, do you remember when a person is buried in the qabr, that what does the qabr say? If the person is pious, the qabr speaks. And the qabr says, you were the most beloved among those who walked on me. Today, you've been handed over to me. You'll see how I treat you. And then the qabr spreads out as far as the eyes can see. And the qabr becomes like a garden of Jannat for him. On the other hand, if a fasiq fajir is buried, then the qabr says, I know what you used to do on my back. Today I will show you who I am. And then the qabr tightens upon him until his rib cage interlock in one another. And this punishment of qabr is musallat on him. So the earth knows what goes on it. Allah Pak has given it some understanding of some degree, some level, in whatever way Allah wants to. So on the day of Qiyamah, the earth will speak up for everything that was done on it. Right? So we should be really scared that we don't do anything silly on the earth so that the earth doesn't have to testify against us on the day of Qiyamah. Do you understand the meaning of this? चलिए आगे. وأنا بسين خلي جانم قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم كيف أنعم وصاحب القرن قد التقم القرن واستمع الإذن متى يؤمر بالنفخ فينفخ فكأن ذلك ثقل على أصحاب رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم فقال قولوا حسبنا الله ونعم الوكيل رواه الترمذي. How can I enjoy my life and be luxurious when the angel carrying the horn has put the horn in his mouth and he's waiting to hear the permission when he is instructed to blow so he can blow in the horn. Now it seemed as this became heavy and burdensome upon Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wasallam. So he said to them, say, Hasbunallahu wa ni'mal wakeel. Allah is sufficient for us and He is the best disposer of affairs. كيف أنعم نعيم ينعم نعما نعومة means to be soft, and naram, you know, soft skin, nice and soft. This is the real meaning of nu'umat. A soft body, gentle like a baby, skin, soft skin. From there, the word is used for luxurious, being luxurious, spending and a lavish lifestyle. How can I have a lavish lifestyle and enjoy my life when Nabi Pak sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to see the Israfil alayhi, the angel Israfil alayhi salam, that he has put the horn in his mouth. Sahibul qarn. Qarn means horn. And Hadith says, Al-Sur qarnun yunfakhu fihi. When Allah said, وَنُفِخَ فِي الصُّورِ فَصَعِقَ مَنْ فِي السَّمَاوَاتِ وَمَنْ فِي الْأَرْضِ. That sur is a horn which the angel will blow. Now, it's not a small horn, it's a massive horn, right? And Israfil alayhi salam is gigantic, right? So Israfil alayhi salam is given that horn, and in that horn, all the souls will be sucked first time, and second time they will be released from there. So all the souls will go into the respective bodies wherever those bodies are, and people will come out from wherever they were buried, in whichever halat they were. So, and Huzur used to see, he could see Israfil alayhi salam with the horn in his mouth. So when I see that, how can I spend my life in luxury? This is why he led a very simple life, very simple life. He gave preference to others over himself. So how can I spend my life in luxury when the farishta of the horn has iltaqam al-qarna? Iltaqama yaltaqimu iltiqaman is from luqma. Luqma बना के मुंह में खाते हैं ना, morsel. Luqma means morsel. So iltaqama के माना मुंह में रख लेना. So he's put it like a luqma in his mouth, and istama al idna, and he is hearing the permission. In another hadith, Huzur said, وَأَصْغَى سَمْعَهُ. He has given his ear, lent his ear. सुनने के लिए कहते हैं कभी हुक्म दो कब देंगे, like ऐसे टेढ़ा करके. So Israfil alayhi salam's horn is in his mouth, and he's lowered his ear, and he's waiting for hukam to be blown. So he's hearing the permission when he is instructed to blow, so he can blow. Sahaba was scared. Oh, baap re baap, kya hoga hamara qiyamat ki din? They were really scared and terrified. So Huzur said, don't worry, don't be scared. Say Hasbunallahu wa ni'mal wakeel. If the trumpet is blown during your lifetime, just say Hasbunallahu wa ni'mal wakeel. So this Huzur said, and this is whenever some huge calamity, parishani comes, what should we say? Hasbunallahu. This is what the people of Gaza say, bichare. And Allah is sufficient for us. Allah, we also say, oh Allah, please pave the way for them and make their life easy for them, protect them, take care of them. चलिए आगे. القرن هو السور الذي قال الله تعالى ونفخ في السور كذا فسره رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. وعن ابي هريره رضي الله عنه قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم من خاف ادلج ومن ادلج بلغ المنزل الا ان سلعة الله غالية الا ان سلعة الله الجنة. Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, whosoever is fearful leaves in the early part of the night, and whosoever leaves in the beginning of the night reaches the destination. Listen carefully. Lo, indeed, the commodity and product of Allah is expensive. Listen carefully. The product of Allah which is for sale is the Jannah. Man khafa, fearful. Adlaja, there are two words here. Adlaja yudliju idlajan, which means from Babi Fa'al, which means to travel in the beginning of the night. Now in the Arabian lands, night was cool, and they could, travel a lot during the night in comparison to day, because day would be hot and the animal would not be able to run that fast. So they would, seize the opportunity of the travel at night. So whoever is fearful of not reaching the destination, and then he will set off early in the evening, early night. As soon as Maghrib starts, he will start his journey. And throughout the night, he'll keep traveling. And then towards the end of the night, when the animal is tired, the camel, he will camp down and relax, and then fall asleep after Fajr, right? And stay asleep until Zohar under the shade of a tree, right? And he won't be disturbed by the heat of the sun. And then after Zohar time in the afternoon, he'll get up, relax, take the animal for grazing, water, and relaxing. And then he'll start his journey again when it cools down later on. So whoever travels in this manner will get to the destination. This is the meaning of the hadith. Whoever is fearful will travel in the early part of the evening and night, and whoever travels in the beginning of the night will reach the manzil. Okay? Will reach his destination. Manzil, destination. Another word is iddalaja, from Babi Ifti'al. And iddalaja yaddaliju iddilajan means to travel in the last part of the night. Okay, this is the versatility of Arabic language. Babi ifal, to travel in the beginning of the night, and babi iftial, to travel at the end of the night. Okay, so adlaja means to travel in the beginning, you will reach the manzil. Okay, so this means that you have to work hard, you have to be careful, you have to think carefully. So for your akhirat and for your jannat, you have to strive. You have to think carefully. What is the best course of action? How can I behave properly? How can I avoid sins? How can I do some good deeds? How can I get ready? So when you are fearful of not getting to Jannat, not reaching your destination, you'll work hard. You'll be organized. You'll have a systematic life. Right? This is what Huzur is trying to explain. And then he said, listen, the commodity of Allah is expensive. Silatun means oh, बेचने का सामान. So you have a shop in the market and you've put your products on for sale. Right? People come and buy. So Allah's product for sale is expensive. Right? And what is Allah's product which is put on sale is Jannat. Right? Jannat is not cheap. Right? You can't earn Jannat with a dilly-dally attitude. You have to work your socks off. So work your socks off because Allah's saman जो सेल पर है वो गालिया गालिया from गला यगलू गिलाअन गिला means to be expensive. तो अल्लाह का सामान बहुत महंगा है. सुनो, अल्लाह का सामान जो बेचने के लिए है वो जन्नत है, तो इसके लिए मेहनत करो. अदलजा बिस्कान दाल माना सारा मिन अव्वल लैल والمراد التشمير في الطاعة. What is meant is to be ready and work hard for ta'at and obedience of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Shammara yushammiru tashmiran means to be prepared, okay, to roll up your sleeves and get on with the job. That's called tashmir. Okay, shammara yushammiru, to get ready and be prepared and work properly. चलिए वान आयशा रज़ी अल्लाह तआला अन्हा क़ाल समिअतु रसूलुल्लाह सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम यक़ूल युहशरु अन्नासु यौमल क़ियामति हुफ़ातन उरातन ग़ुरलन क़ुल्तु या रसूलल्लाह अर्रिजालु वन्निसाउ जमीअन नंज़ुरु बअदुहुम इला बअदिन क़ाल या आयशा अल-अम्रु अशद्दु मिन अन युहिम्महुम ज़ालिका वफ़ी रिवायतिन अल-अम्रु अहम्मु मिन अन यंज़ुर बअदुहुम इला बअदिन. Aisha radiallahu anha reports, Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, people will be gathered on the day of Qiyamah barefoot, unclothed and uncircumcised. I said, Ya Rasulullah, men and women together, each looking at one another. And he replied, Oh Aisha, the matter is more severe than this worrying them. In another riwayat, the matter is more concerning than people looking at one another. Yuhsharun nas hashara, to gather, assemble. People will be assembled on the day of Qiyamah. Hufatan is from hafiya yahfa hafawatan, which means to be barefoot. Hafi means barefoot. Among our mashayikh is Bishri Hafi rahmatullah alayhi, because he used to keep walking barefoot. So he wouldn't wear slipper sandals. He would feel ashamed of trampling on the earth of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So ये उनका एक हाल था. हम तो इंग्लैंड में जूते नहीं पहनेंगे तो मर जाएंगे बर्फ में, तो हमको तो पहनना पड़ेगा चप्पल जूते, खुले पैर नहीं चलने. हाँ, कभी कभार वेदर अच्छा हो तो खुले पैर चलने का हुजूर ने हुक्म दिया था, अन्नहतफिया अहयानन, कभी कभी खुले पैर भी चला करो. तो हुफातन मीन्स नंगे पैर, उरातन फ्रॉम आरी यारा आरियन, और उसके माना नंगा होना, अनक्लोथड. So Ari means unclothed, Urat unclothed. Ghurlan is plural of Aghral. Aghral means ghair makhtoon, meaning when a person is born, then the skin, foreskin on his private part is there. Then khatna is done. Now, as he came out of his mother's womb, he will come out of the grave. So when he comes out of the grave, Allah will put that piece of flesh back on his pishab ki jagah, right? To show that Allah can fully recreate a person in the same way as he was created from his mother's womb. So they will be in that manner
proper 100% fully created. Every limb that you had in the dunya will be with you when you come out of the qabr. As you were in the dunya is the way you will come out of your qabr. So, Hazrat Aisha asked, Ya Rasulullah, you said uratan, unclothed. So men, women, all of them looking at one another. So Huzur said, Aisha, the matter is going to be so terrifying that people won't even think about looking at one another. You know, when you're terrified, you're scared, right? You don't think about looking at other person's satar, right? जब earthquake होता है तो लोग बाहर भागते हैं and everybody is scared, terrified for their lives, running for their lives. Nobody looks at one another, right? ये तो सब मस्ती कब चल जाए, मुट्ठी से आराम से बैठे हों तब ये मस्ती सूझती है. तो उस वक्त ये मस्ती सारी निकल जाएगी. So people, their minds won't go towards looking at one another's satar because their mind will be towards what's going to happen, right? Now, this is Shurra say about general people, right? The special people, the Anbiya, Awliya, Sulaha, their minds will be stable and they will be clothed, right? Mullah Ali Qari Rahmatullah alayhi has written in Sharh Mishkat that those whose mind are stable, they will come out of their qabr with their kafan. Allah will return to them their kafan. So they will cover their satar with their kafan. But the others, right, they won't have any kafan, anything on them, right? That's why they will be unclothed. And then when Maidani Hashar, Hisab, Kitab, etc. starts, then a beautiful clothes, suit from Jannat will be brought and given to Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam, and he will be clothed with the clothing from Jannat. And then Nabi Pak sallallahu alaihi wasallam will be clothed with clothing from Jannat. This is how things will happen on that day. And when they get to Maidan Hashar, they come stable, then their satar will be covered. But initially, when everybody comes out of the qabr, they will be unclothed. Like when you came out of your mother's womb, you had no clothes on. That's how you will come out of your qabr as well. So, the main point to say here is Al-amru ashaddu min an yuhimmahum zalika. Ahamma yuhimmu ke mana to make someone worry. Hammun means fikr, worry. So matter will be so severe that no one will have the fikr and worry about looking at one another. Okay, what bab were we reading? Babul khawf, fear, right? Now next bab is about Babul Raja. Raja means hope. Okay, so we should have hope from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as well. Of course, we have to fear Allah, but we have to have hope as well. Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam is reported to have said, or there is a statement among the ulama, Al-imanu bayna al-khawfi wal-raja'i. Iman is between fear and hope. Don't be too fearful that you are crying all the time and you are despondent. And don't be too hopeful that you don't fear at all and you go on committing all sins. Right? Stay in between the two. Right? Have fear as well and have hope as well. The fear will keep you on track. And the hope will keep you connected to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Right? If you are too fearful, too scared, then you might lose track. And if you are too hopeful, you might go off track. Right? So stay in between. Right? So बहुत ज़्यादा डरो भी मत कि हिम्मत हार के मायूस होकर बैठ जाओ ना उम्मीद. Right? और बहुत ज़्यादा होपफुल भी न रहो जैसे अक्सर लोगों का आज हाल है. सब गुनाह करते हैं और कहते हैं जन्नत में कौन जाएगा? अपन ही जाएगा ना जन्नत में. अपन जन्नत में नहीं जाएगा तो कौन जाएगा? ले जैसे जन्नत तेरे बाप की है तो तू ही जाएगा और कोई जाएगा ही नहीं. तो ये और गुनाह पे गुनाह की. एक नमाज नहीं पढ़ते, एक रोज़ा नहीं रखते, ज़कात देते नहीं हैं, राइट? और गुनाह पे गुनाह करते हैं और फिर कहते हैं कि हम जन्नत में जाएंगे. तो ये ऐसा होप भी नहीं. ओके, बोथ आर नेसेसरी. डर भी ज़रूरी है और उम्मीद भी ज़रूरी है. पिछला बाप डर के लिए था, अब आइंदा बाप उम्मीद के लिए है. अल्लाह फरमाते हैं कुल या इबादी अल्लज़ीना असरफ़ू अला अनफुसिहिम ला तक़नतू मिन रहमतिल्लाह इन्नल्लाह यग़फ़िरुज़्ज़ुनूब जमीअन इन्नहु हुवल गफ़ूरुर रहीम. कह दीजिए मेरे बंदो जिन्होंने अपने आप पर जुल्म किया है, अल्लाह की रहमत से मायूस न हो जाओ. बेशक अल्लाह तमाम गुनाहों को बख्शते हैं, बेशक वही असल गफूरुर रहीम हैं। वहल नुजाजी इल्लल कफूर, हम सज़ा नहीं देते मगर उसको जो इंतहाई नाशुक्रा हो। बिलाल, you know my other phone I forgot by mistake, I left that phone there. फिर लिया है मजबूर भूल गया है, it's on the same table you left it. जज़ाकल्लाह तस्लीमा। इन्ना क़द ऊहिय इलैना अन्नल अज़ाब अला मन कज़्ज़ब व तवल्ला, indeed it has been revealed to us that azab will be on those who deny and turn their backs. अजाब किस पर जाएगा बोलो? जो तकज़ीब करे, झूठा कहे, और तवल्ला जो पीठ फेर कर भागे. So people who turn their backs and run away and deny Allah, azab will go on them. Okay? Meaning the deniers, the kafirs, the mushrik. Azab is not for mu'mineen. Azab is originally for kafir mushrik. Okay? If a mu'min goes into azab, then it will be temporarily, momentarily, not for eternally, and not for punishment, just for cleaning purposes, so that he can be cleansed and purified. وَرَحْمَتِي وَسِعَتْ كُلَّ شَيْءٍ, my rahmat covers everything. Okay? वसीआ means to cover, surround, उसमें गुंजाइश का होना. मेरी रहमत हर चीज़ पर वसी है, and it covers everything. وعن عبادة بن صامت رضي الله تعالى عنه قال قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم من شهد لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأن محمدا عبده ورسوله وأن عيسى عبد الله ورسوله وكلمته ألقاها إلى مريم وروح منه والجنة حق والنار حق فادخله الله الجنة على ما كان من عمل متفق عليه. Whoever testifies that Allah, there is no deity but Allah alone, no sharik for him, and Muhammad is his slave and his messenger, and that Isa is Allah's slave and messenger, and his word which he cast unto Maryam, and his ruh and a ruh from him, and Jannat and Dozakh are true, then Allah will admit him into Jannah in spite of whatever deeds he has. हो गया? पढ़ो मेरे साथ. अशहदु अल्ला इलाहा इल्लल्लाहु वहदहु ला शरीका लहु व अशहदु अन्ना मुहम्मदन अब्दुहु व रसूलुहु व अन्ना ईसा अब्दुल्लाहि व रसूलुहु व कलिमतुहु अलकाहा इला मरियम व रूहुम मिन्हु वल जन्नतु हक्कुन वन नारु हक्कुन. बस इंशाअल्लाह जन्नत वाजिब हो गई. आपने पढ़ लिया है कलमा, अल्लाह पाक आपको जन्नत नसीब करेंगी इंशाअल्लाह. बस ये ख़ास तौर पर कोई क्रिश्चियन मुसलमान हो उससे ये पूरा कलमा पढ़ाने का, ये भी एक्सेप्ट करो कि ईसा अलैहिस्सलाम खुदा नहीं, खुदा के बेटे नहीं हैं, खुदा के बंदे और रसूल हैं. तो इसलिए हुजूर ने पढ़वाया, फरमाया ये पढ़ लिया तो जन्नत मिलेगी इंशाअल्लाह. तो इसमें बड़ी उम्मीद है कि हम कलमा पढ़ते हैं, हमसे गुनाह भी हो जाते हैं, मगर उम्मीद है अल्लाह हमारे गुनाह माफ़ करेंगे, हमको जन्नत नसीब करेंगे. जी. وعن ابي ذر رضي الله تعالى عنه قال قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يقول الله عز وجل من جاء بالحسنة فله عشر أمثالها وأزيده ومن جاء بالسيئة فجزاؤه سيئة مثلها وأغفره ومن تقرب مني شبرا تقربت منه ذراعا ومن تقرب مني ذراعا تقربت منه باعا ومن أتاني يمشي أتيته هرولة ومن لقيني بقراب الأرض خطيئة لا يشرك بي شيئا لقيت بمثلها مغفرة. Allah Azza wa Jal says in Hadith al-Qudsi, whosoever comes with one hasana, he will get 10 times of it, or I will increase. And whosoever comes with a bad deed, then the punishment for a bad deed is something bad equal to it, or I could forgive. And whosoever comes close to me by a handspan, I come close to him by an arm's length. And whosoever comes close to me by an arm's length, I draw closer to him by a cubit length. And whosoever comes to me walking, I come to him running. And whosoever meets me with sins which are close to filling the earth, but he does not do shirk with me, then I will meet him with his equivalent of maghfirat. Do you understand? من جاء بالحسنة فله عشر أمثالها وأزيد. This is creating hope within us. Allah is generous. Allah is kind. Allah is extremely generous. Allah is there for the taking. You do one good deed, Allah multiplies by 10 times minimum or even more, right? 100 times, 700 times, 7,000 times, right? There's no limit in the increasing of Allah. But minimum limit of increase is 10. But then it can go above 10 as much as Wallahu yudha'ifu liman yasha. And man jaa bis-sayyi'ah fajazā'uhu sayyidun sayyidun mithluhā waghfiru. If you bring a bad deed, then the bad deed's punishment is bad punishment like it, equal to it. Jitna guna kiya, utni hi saza. Aw aghfiru, or I could forgive as well. Even for that sayyah, I don't take to account. And man taqarraba minni shibran, whosoever comes close to me by shibr. Shibr means handspan. Taqarrabtu minhu zira'an. Zira' means arm's length, or 1 zira' from the top of your middle finger to your elbow. That's about 33 centimeters, right? That's called zira'. So you come 1 handspan, 1 forearm, 1 arm's length. And if you come 1 arm's length, then I come close to him by 1 ba'. Ba' cubit. Ba' is when you stretch both hands, right? Then from the right hand finger to the left hand finger, this space is called ba'. You get it? Cubit. And it's cubit karte hain. Bahral ba', 1 ba', when both hands are stretched out. And woman atani yamshi ataytuhu harwalatan. Whosoever comes to me walking, I go to him running. Okay? So Allah is there waiting for us. We come walking, he comes running. And whosoever meets with sins equivalent to filling up the earth, then not committing shirk, then I will meet him with equivalent to it in maghfirat. Subhanallah. Qurab means ma yuqaribu, that which is qareeb and close to filling up the earth, right? From the earth to the sky. His sins are so much that the space between the earth and the sky could be filled with his sins. Then I will meet him with similar maghfirat on the day of Qiyamah. Allah Pak is Allah Pak. He is extremely forgiving. He forgives, forgives, forgives. He loves to forgive. You know, we love to take revenge, but Allah loves to forgive. So Allah is totally different from everyone else. This is raja and hope with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. ومعنى الحديث من تقرب إلي بطاعتي تقربت إليه برحمتي. Whoever comes too close to me with my obedience, I come close to him with my mercy. In zada zittu, and if he increases his ta'at, then I increase my mercy. فإن أتاني يمشي وأسرع في طاعتي أتيته هرولة. If he comes to me walking and he hastens to obey me, then I come to him running. أي صببت عليه الرحمة وسبقته بها ولم أحوجه إلى المشي الكثير في الوصول إلى المقصود. Meaning, I pour my rahmat over him. صببت صب يصب, to pour. And وسبقته بها, and I rush towards him with my mercy. And ولم أحوجه, I do not put him in the need and necessity for excessive walking to reach his goal. أحوجه أحوج يحوج, हाजत में डालना, ज़रूरत में डालना. उसको इसकी ज़रूरत नहीं पड़ने देता कि बहुत ज़्यादा चले उसके मकसूद तक पहुँचने के लिए. وقراب الأرض بضم القاف ويقال بكسرها والضم أشهر ومعناه ما يقارب ملئها. It means that which is close to filling it up. Tell him. وعن جابر رضي الله تعالى عنه قال جاء أعرابي إلى النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم فقال يا رسول الله ما الموجبتان؟ قال من مات لا يشرك بالله شيئا دخل الجنة ومن مات يشرك بالله شيئا دخل النار. A Bedouin came to Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wasallam and said, Ya Rasulullah, what are the 2 things that necessitate? Perhaps he heard Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wasallam say al-mujibatan. So you were talking about mujibatan. What are the 2 mujibatan, Ya Rasulullah? Mujibatani, tathniya of mujibatun. And mujibatun is from awjaba yujibu ijaban. And awjaba yujibu means wajib karna, to make something compulsory, necessary. So what are the two mujibatani which make compulsory? He said, "Man mata la yushriku billahi shay'an dakhala al-jannah, man mata yushriku bihi shay'an dakhala an-nar." One who dies not doing shirk will go in Jannah, and one who dies committing shirk will go in Jahannam. Okay? So Tawheed necessitates Jannah and Shirk necessitates Jahannam. These are the two necessitators, mujibatan. So there's hope in there. Alhamdulillah, we're not doing Shirk, we are doing Tawheed, so we'll go in Jannah, inshallah. So don't be too scared, right? Be hopeful from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وعن انس رضي الله عنه معاذ رديفه ولا الرحل قال يا معاذ قال لبيك يا رسول الله وسعديك قال يا معاذ قال لبيك يا رسول الله وسعديك قال يا معاذ قال لبيك يا رسول الله وسعديك ثلاثا قال ما من عبد يشهد ان لا اله الا الله وان محمدا عبده ورسوله صدقا من قلبه الا حرقه الله على النار. قال يا رسول الله فلا أخبر الناس فيستبشروا قال إذن يتكلوا فأخبر بها معاذ عند موته تأثما. Anas radiallahu anhu reports that Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam, whilst Muaz was riding behind his back on the carrier upon the camel, said, "O Muaz," he said, "Labbayk ya Rasulullah wa sa'adi, I am present ya Rasulullah at your service." He said, "Ya Muaz," and he said, "I am present ya Rasulullah and at your service." He said, "O Muaz, I am present ya Rasulullah at your service," 3 times. Then he said, "There is no person who testifies La ilaha illallah Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluhu in truth from his heart, but Allah will make the fire of Jahannam haram upon him." Muaz said, "Ya Rasulullah, shall I not inform the people with this so they can also get this good news?" And he said, "Then they will rely upon it." So Muaz informed of this at his death to get out of the ithm and sin, to not be sinful with Allah. أن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم معاذ رديفه على الرحل. Radif means the one who sits at the back of your ride. Okay? Someone sits on the back seat of your car is your radif. So people sitting on the back of the horse with you or back of the camel is called your radif. So Muaz was his radif ala rahli. Rahl, palan. The carrier on the back of the camel is made from wood, and normally one person sits on it and behind him is all his luggage. But sometimes 2 people sit on the camel, on the other back, on the other side of the camel, the hump. So Muaz was behind him. Why is he saying this? To say that he was really close. He was not at a distance. If he was at a distance, he could have misheard. But he wasn't at a distance. He was very close. He heard everything properly. Every word he heard properly. So Muaz, whilst being riding at the back on the palan, Huzur said, "Ya Muaz, labbaik wa sa'daik." Labbaik means मैं हाजिर हूँ, and sa'daik means आपकी खिदमत के लिए तैयार हूँ. क्योंकि असआदा युसईदु इसआदन के माना मदद करना, to help, to aid, right? तो वो sa'daik is from there. I am here to help you. इसलिए मैंने क्या तर्जुमा किया, at your service. I am present and at your service, Ya Rasulullah. 3 times he said this. Why did he say this 3 times? To draw the attention of Muaz towards the important message he was going to give. So Muaz listens carefully and understands it fully. And he said, "Ma min abdin yashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa Muhammadur Rasul sidqan min qalbihi." Sidqan means hal, in truth, with truth, meaning not lip service, because munafiqs used to do lip service. So the munafiq lip service is not meant. We in truth, min qalbihi is connected to qala. Ma min abdin, yashhadu. Ma min abdin yashhadu min qalbihi. There is no slave who testifies from his heart. Right? Dil se kalma pade, सच्चाई के साथ. But Allah will make Jahannam haram upon him. Okay, Jahannam will be haram upon him. You might ask, what about the sins he might have committed? Right? Well, there are various ta'wilat in here. One is that since he is giving this testimony from his heart. That means he's very strong in his aqidah. And when he's strong, he'll practice as well. He'll do the right stuff and he'll avoid the bad stuff. So he will go straight in Jannah. Jahannam will be haram upon him. He won't go in Jahannam. Right? Number two ta'wil is an-nar over here means that section of the nar which is for kufr and shirk. Because nar has 7 levels. Right? And the lowest levels are the most severest azab. And the upper level, top deck, has very minimal azab. So that level which is of severe punishment will be haram on him. Even if he has to go, he will go for the light punishment. But it's to say that kalma makes Jahannam haram upon a person. Number 3, we could say that Jahannam was made haram by the kalma, right? But if he wants to invite Jahannam by doing bad stuff, then that's his fault, right? But Allah has given him this, that once you've declared this, I will make Jahannam haram upon you. So if a kafir embraces Islam, right, at the end of his life, and he dies after this, saying this kalma, he's got no sins on him, straight to Jannah. And there's been cases like this. You must have heard of people, Guriyas in hospital declaring, kalma before dying on their deathbed. So, sab maaf ho gaya uska, right? So when you testify kalma shahadat, then Jahannam will be made haram, right? So Muaz said, shall I go and tell people? فَيَسْتَبْشِرُوا Istabshara, istabshiru, istibsharan means khush hona, good news lena. वो भी खुश हो जाएं. They can be happy as well. They can rejoice. Huzur said, nah, don't do that. Idhan yattakilu. Then they will just rely on kalma. Right? Like many people are relying today. भाई क्या है यार, कलमा पढ़ा है ना हमने, कलमा पढ़ लिया है, काफ़ी है. तो ये नहीं है. अगर ये बता देंगे तो लोग इस पर रिलाई भरोसा करके बैठ जाएंगे कि अमल की ज़रूरत नहीं है, छोड़ो यार, कलमा तो है ना हमारे पास. फ़ाख़बर बिहा Muaz didn't tell people during his lifetime, but at the time of his death, he told people to get out of sin. Ta'athuman means khuruj anil ism. Ism means sin. Ta'athama means kharaja anil ismi. And what is that ism? The ism of kitman. Quran said, Inna alladhina yaktumuna ma anzalna. Okay, there is a warning for those who hide, what Allah has revealed. So if you hide ilm and knowledge, that is bad. You'll be punished. So Muaz did not want to hide, did not want to go with this hadith in his qabr. So he thought, rather than hiding it, I might as well pass it on. I don't want to be sinful in the court of Allah on the day of Qiyamah. So Muaz informed people of this hadith at the time of his death to get out of ism and sin. قوله تأثما أي خوفا من الإثم في كتم هذا العلم, meaning due to fear of sin in hiding this ilm and knowledge which he had. وعن أبي هريرة رضي الله تعالى عنه أو أبي سعيد الخدري رضي الله عنه شك الراوي ولا يضر الشك في عين الصحابية لأنهم كلهم عدول. قال Abu Huraira or Abu Sa'id, Ravi had shak in there, and shak in the identity of Sahabi is not harmful because all Sahaba are reliable. لا يضر الشك في عين الصحابي. عين means specific. Yeah, who is that specific Sahabi? If you have doubt in him, that's the harm. Why? Because as-sahabatu kulluhum udul. This is, established fact, right? That as-sahabatu kulluhum udul. Udul is plural of adil. Adil means reliable. Every Sahabi is reliable. No Sahabi would fabricate a lie on Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So all their hadiths will be true. Any forgery came later on among the later generations. Sahaba are Sahaba, right? They are all trustworthy. This is the meaning of as-sahabatu kulluhum udul. So Abu Sa'id, Abu Hurairah, whoever it is narrates, لما كان يوم غزوة تبوك, when it was the time of غزوة تبوك, أصاب الناس مجاعة, hunger struck people. Meaning when they were traveling for Tabuk, then along the route in the desert, they were struck by hunger. Meaning they ran out of ration, provisions. So qahat pad gaya or hunger struck them. So they said, Ya Rasulullah, لو أذنت لنا فنحرنا نواضحنا فأكلنا ودهنا. If you would allow us, then we can slaughter our camels and we can eat the meat and we can gain some fat. Okay? لو أذنت لنا, if you only permitted us. أذن يأذن permission. فنحرنا, to do nahr, slaughter. نواضحنا is plural of ناضح. And ناضح means utni. Sawari ki utni. فأكلنا, we can eat the meat. And ودهنا, iddahana yaddahinu means to take some duhn and fat, oil. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, If'alu, go on then, do it. فجاء Umar, Sayyidina Umar came and he said, Ya Rasulullah, in fa'alta qalla zahru. If you were to do this, then the rides will be few. We won't have enough rides. ولكن أدعوهم بفضل أزوادهم. Rather call them with the remainder of their provisions. ثم ادعوا الله لهم عليها بالبركة. Then make dua from Allah to give barakah in it. لعل الله أن يجعل لهم في ذلك البركة. Perhaps Allah will place barakat in there. Do you understand what Hazrat Umar said? If we slaughter all the camels, how are we going to get back home? Right? You can't slaughter the camels. So please don't give them that permission. And what you could do is tell them whatever you have left over, bring it. And then make dua of barakat in there. Allah will give barakat in whatever provisions we've got left. فقال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم نعم. Okay then. فدعا بنطع فبسطه. He called for a chamde ka dastarkhan and he spread it. Okay? Nita means chamde ka dastarkhan, leather spread, and he spread it. Basata yabsutu phailana. ثم دعا بفضل أزوادهم. Then he called for the remainder of the provisions. قال فجعل الرجل يجيء بكف ذرة. A man began to come with a handful of corn. ذرة means makkay, corn. ويجيء الآخر بكسرة. Another came with a piece of bread. كسرة means roti ka tukda. Roti ka tukda. कसरा तो तोड़ना. तो आधी रोटी खाई थी तोड़कर आधी बच गई थी. So he came with a kisra, meaning a piece of roti bread, حتى اجتمع على النطع من ذلك شيء يسير, until they gathered upon the chamde ka dastarkhan a little bit. فدعا رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم بالبركة. Huzur made dua of barakat. ثم قال, then he said, خذوا في أوعيتكم. After making dua of barakat, he said, take and fill up your containers. خذوا, أخذ يأخذ, take. أوعية, plural of وعاء. وعاء means container, tela, bag, whatever your bags, containers are, fill up from here. فأخذوا في أوعيتهم. So they took the provisions in their containers and bags. حتى ما تركوا في العسكر وعاء إلا ملؤوه. Until they did not leave in the army a single container or vessel or bag, but they filled it up. وأكلوا, and they ate as well. حتى شبعوا, until they were satiated. وفضل فضلة, and a remainder remained as well. बच गया थोड़ा सा. فقال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأني رسول الله لا يلقى الله بهما عبد غير شاك فيحجب عن الجنة. No person meets Allah with this kalma and he has no shak in there, and he would be prevented from Jannah. It cannot happen that a person comes to Allah with shahadatain and Allah prevents him from going in Jannah. No. If a person comes with these kalimat, Allah will admit him into Jannah. Do you understand all the words? और पढ़ना है कि बस करना? थक गए? बाप कितनी हदीसें बाकी हैं? चलो फिर रहने दो. चलो फिर यहाँ से बाद में. सुभान अल्लाह बिहम्दिही सुभान अल्लाह अस्तगफिरुका व अतूबु इलैक. ओके जी. अस्सलाम वालेकुम. ओके जी, फेसबुक लिसनर्स, यूट्यूब लिसनर्स, अस्सलाम वालेकुम व रहमतुल्लाहि व बरकातुहू. यूट्यूब पर भी ये लेसन तुम्हारा